So I really hate that I feel like I have to list off a bunch of like identities and qualifications just to tell a joke. To be clear, I want the other comics to have to do it so I don't accidentally laugh at a racist, but I don't want to do it. I'm non-binary, I know, big surprise. I have like 50 hand-poke tattoos. But I think that my answer for all of this like identity qualification thing is maybe some kind of like identification process. We could go with like shapes and colors for each of the different identities. Since World War II is coming back around, we could like sew them in patches on our coats. And I've been doing a lot of thinking what the non-binary patch will look like. I'm pretty sure that we should go with some kind of like black and white question mark. Because the reality is, if you ask a non-binary person like me, Sam, how is it that you are both a man and a woman and neither? You're about 30 seconds away from a weird energy conversation because we don't know either. We have the exact same language you do. It's been difficult for all of us. And honestly, I tried for 30 years to be a girl, and that ended with me getting my breasts removed, so that didn't work. And I'm very familiar with masculinity and its work, and I don't think it's for me. I'm just going to have to pass. Thank you so much. But I think that a lot of my social awkwardness, I blame probably like 50% of it on my autism, and the other 50% on like my whiteness. At this point, the only thing that's kind of keeping me cool is that I'm Mexican American, and even then I'm more of a flour tortilla than a corn tortilla. That is actually a level 57 Spanish colonialism joke. And I am now a level 60 white ally, so I can tell it. It was actually really easy. I jumped to level 50 last week. I just had to submit the names of a couple black friends. I'm just kidding. There are no levels or tests or anything like that. You don't need references. But I do think that when you start anti-racism work, there is kind of like a weird growing period where you just kind of mess up a lot. And for me, this kind of happened in college. Like, for example, one time I took a sociology class where we learned about a study where two people are asked to set up 2 chairs in an empty room. And we ended up finding out that on average, white people tend to set up their chair about 6 inches further away from black people than they do other white people. And my very autistic literal brain heard that, saw the black student standing next to me, and very purposefully stood like 6 inches closer to them. I actually made it a point to stand 6 inches closer to all black people. And the way this ended up playing out was that, y'all, I ended up jump scaring black people for 5 years. And just to give you a little context, I didn't look like this in college. I was like a jumpy, skinny, anxious white girl. My only tattoo was this pink peace sign on my wrist. And I would like sit around with my white friends smoking cigarettes, talking about the prison industrial complex. And I'd be like, if they know it's bad, why don't they just stop? And basically, I went to school in Texas, so I would hang out in the Malcolm X Lounge, which is a real place at the University of Texas at Austin. And I would wait for an opportunity to jump into a seat that was next to a black student, so I would like move it 6 inches closer and then sit down. Honestly, I want to apologize to all the black people I jump scared. Just imagine that you're at like slam poetry on a Tuesday night, you're watching your friend on stage, having a drink, And then all of a sudden there's a white girl with too much eye contact snapping next to you, like, hey, are you into Afrofuturism also? Yeah, truly sorry. But I will say, if we're anything, autistic people are consistent. So once I found out that I could solve racism by standing close to black people, I made it a point to go to a lot of the black events on campus. And I went every week for years. And so at first it was kind of like, why is that white girl that stands too close to people keep coming to things? Which I think after a while kind of turned into like, hey, where's that white girl that stands too close to people with the free cigarettes and weed? I would get very drunk and buy like white guilt rounds of shots. And not because I was rich or anything. I had just learned what reparations were. That's all I have tonight. Thank y'all.